Hello everyone and welcome to the CFB Battle Royale. I am your host Greggles, and today we are going to be doing the final round of this Micro Battle Royale. For those of you who were here a few minutes ago, and when I accidentally left my stream running and was setting this up, you got to see how the map was built. So if you were here early, good. That's a nice little bonus bit of footage, I guess. But for everyone else, yeah, welcome. This is the final round of the Micro Battle Royale. So the winner of this is the winner of the whole thing. So let's get this thing started, shall we? All right, so let's start doing some turns so we can get to the actual action. And while we do that, let's do our introductions. Up in the north, in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, we have East Carolina. Going clockwise in the Carrier Dome, we have Syracuse. In Spartan Stadium, we have Michigan State. In Texas Memorial Stadium, we have Texas. In Rice Stadium, we have Rice. Very obvious naming conventions for the stadiums here for who's playing. In Notre Dame Stadium, we have Notre Dame. In InfoCision Stadium, we have InfoCision. No, I'm just kidding. It's Akron. And then over in McKay Stadium, we have Nevada. In Rice-Eccles Stadium, we have Utah. In Davis-Wade Stadium, we have Mississippi State. And in Kidd Brewer Stadium, we have the Appalachian State. I'm so mad they got through just so I have to keep doing this thing. The Appalachian State Mountaineers. So, yeah, we are at turn 15, and it's going to be an 11-team finals. So all 10 conferences plus the independents have made it to the final round here. And luckily it is using the American map, but with a few additions. So one, there's an extra row of mountains because we had a lot of teams putting units in the water. Hopefully this is to try and mitigate it a little bit. So, so yeah, it's just to mitigate it to try to keep some of the teams from settling units in the water. This should prevent their stadiums or their territories from expanding that way further, at least for a little bit. So they should now expand more towards the middle. So, all right. We have Rice-Eccles versus Rice Stadium. Who gets the Eccles? So, all right, turn 31. So far we have a few expansions. Mississippi State heading towards the middle. East Carolina trying to block off Syracuse there a little bit. Everyone else still kind of figuring their thing out. Akron going towards Notre Dame. Nevada heading towards that middle. So Notre Dame does have a second chance here to build the actual Notre Dame, however you want to pronounce it, in their territory. They've never done it through the history of a Battle Royale. So now is their chance to do it. And we'll see if that actually happens. So Michigan State up here does build a new, or expand a new territory right up against Texas Memorial Stadium. So Texas and Michigan State doing kind of a yin-yang thing right here, with both of their territories expanding and overlapping each other. So that's going to probably lead to some tension, maybe a war or two. So we'll see who can come out of that one alive. Rice expanding to the middle, getting to turn 45, so no. Oh, and even with the double mountain, Syracuse still gets that great admiral. So good for Syracuse, I guess. They still managed to get into the water, even though I tried to stop them. And I don't know why they did. I don't know how that happened. So I guess I have to make everything completely mountains, or they're going to build naval units. I can't even give them water, like one tile of water, or else they're going to put a boat in it. All right, so there we go. East Carolina is the first team to military units, I believe. I do see a scout for Mississippi State, but yeah, East Carolina is the first military, and they build two catapults in 1 or 2 turns. I think it was 1. I think they built 1 and purchased 1. So East Carolina is coming prepared, ready to go against whatever team they feel like they want to take on. Michigan State starting to form that second expansion towards the middle here, enveloping that lake tile that they have. Just like Rice seems to be doing. So Rice has fully enveloped the lake. Michigan State took a little bit of a detour to try and block Texas off a bit. I see Nevada moving in towards Utah's territory, so who has what it takes? East Carolina already with that 3rd catapult, so before anyone else even has another military unit, East Carolina already has 3 catapults. Syracuse is the only other team who's built anything with a caravan. I see Utah actually has one as well. And Rice is built a second worker. So Rice is focusing on territory improvements, tile improvements. So they want to get their land settled and prepared as fast as possible, because the more tile improvements you have, the faster your production is, your food is, your gold is. So that could give you an advantage later on, but it's a gamble that no one's going to attack you in that time. East Carolina already with that swordsman, so they have everything they need to capture a city at the moment. They probably want another melee unit or two, but they are in high gear right now, ready to go and just destroy whichever team decides to cross their path. 229 military to the next team having 49. So East Carolina is hyper aggressive right now off the bat. And Texas over here does now have their own catapults, so does Rice. So that second worker has disappeared. Don't know where he went. Maybe they sold him for a catapult? Not really sure what happened there. They had a second worker. You and I both saw it. I don't know where that went, but they had one. Now they have a catapult. So, okay. Michigan State also having a catapult as well. So, yeah, I don't know where that worked. I guess they sold it. They fired their worker and built a catapult instead. That's a waste of production, but hey, it's their decision. They're Rice, so I can't really question them. They have to know what they're doing, right? It's Rice. They're a smart school. So they got the big brain. So yeah, you're not wrong, Solitaire. She said human trafficking. So Rice endorses it. You didn't hear it from me. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. I'm just kidding. Please don't sue me. Notre Dame does build the catapult as well. So now a lot of people starting to focus on that military. And Appalachian State still not with much. Mississippi State still with nothing. And East Carolina just kind of, I saw a warrior. There he is. East Carolina has a warrior kind of exploring the land, seeing who is worthy of an invasion. Right now, they could take their pick between Syracuse, App State, or Mississippi State. All very close to their territory, all with no military whatsoever. Down in the south, Notre Dame, actually, no, they do have a catapult. He was hiding from me. Nevada, Utah, Akron, they are all without a military unit at the moment as well. So, a lot of options. Mississippi State actually just built a catapult, so still easy to attack, but not nearly as easy as Syracuse and App State, who have nothing at the moment. Alrighty, so continuing on. Yeah, I'm very interested in what East Carolina does with how aggressive they've been from the start. Michigan State getting their second catapult. No one else with more than one besides the obvious. And let's just keep going. Let's see what happens. We're at turn 103, so we should probably see a war here in the next 40 to 50 turns, maybe even less with East Carolina being so aggressive. They have 3 more warriors down here in the south, so they have really been pumping out military units. That is insane how many warriors and catapults they've been able to build in such a short time. I don't know where they're even getting these from. Like, they've almost filled their entire territory. They must be focusing on nothing else, so. Alrighty, so keep going. Yeah, if I were everyone else, I would gang up on East Carolina right now and start thinking about trying to knock them down. It's going to take a combined strength of pretty much everybody to stop East Carolina at the moment. And you don't want to let them build with just how aggressive they've been. You don't want to let this build, because if they get another city and they're this aggressive with expanding their military is just going to take over the whole land. So you have to be very careful here if you're everyone else in the map. Texas seems ready to go. They have a swordsman and 3 catapults as well. Michigan State with their 3 catapults, just no melee unit yet. App State, Syracuse still have no military whatsoever. Mississippi State with their 3 catapults. I see that one hiding. Utah and Akron have no military, neither does Notre Dame. Still has their 1 catapult. Nevada has their 1 catapult. Rice with 2. So everyone's slowly getting into it. Michigan State does have Sparty. I know it's not the usual icon convention. I just need to update that one for the official one in June. Mississippi State, there's a regular icon convention. Mississippi State does have Bully, their unique unit. So a few unique units coming in. East Carolina with a composite bowman defending their city. So right now things are looking pretty good for a few teams. A few teams really need to catch up if they want any sort of chance. Because especially these two right here, with East Carolina as aggressive as they are, they can easily take over both probably Syracuse and App State in the same war if they wanted to. The Mountaineers expanding into East Carolina's territory, Syracuse expanding out towards East Carolina. So at least the two teams that don't have a military are trying their best to contain the pirates. But that's just going to piss them off. So it's going to be... You're kind of poking the tiger here with how aggressive they've been and how angry you're making them. They're going to probably go to war with you over that soon. So hopefully their best bet is to either make an agreement with either Michigan State, Mississippi State, Texas, somebody to help them if a war is declared. And probably not going to happen. Your best bet actually would be if either of them get taken out or both, is that everyone goes to war with East Carolina at the same time because of their warmonger penalties. So down here in the south, Notre Dame now has 3 catapults and a swordsman, which is usually the default for they can start attacking stuff, but it's not a good idea to yet. Mississippi State has some pikemen now, as well as their 3 catapults. Michigan State still with that Sparty and 3 catapults. Sparty being, I believe, a pike or a spearman. So similar to Mississippi State's right there. Texas with their 3 catapults and 2 swordsmen and a pikeman. So everyone's slowly catching up. East Carolina probably is not doing so well with food or with happiness just because of how much military they have. They're doing pretty good with food. They're in second place behind Rice, tied with Nevada and Notre Dame. On the lower end of that spectrum, everyone else pretty much has 6 or 7, so not too distant for anybody with food. So it's turn 152 and no war yet. I wouldn't be surprised if East Carolina is the first team to go to war, but I could see Texas joining forces, or Michigan State joining forces with East Carolina against Syracuse. The Pirates don't really need to join forces with anybody, but it could help. Alright, Nevada's been pretty quiet, but they do also have their 3 catapults and a swordsman. Akron still has no military, so we may see Notre Dame and Nevada go to war here against Akron, or Notre Dame and Texas against Rice. Utah with still no military whatsoever, so with them and Akron, Utah and Akron are very slow to the game here. As we've seen before, though, and App State too, and Syracuse. We've seen before teams that have held back on military, luckily being forgot about for a while, and then still managing to make it. Akron didn't build a military forever in their original round either, so Akron's still playing with that same rule book playbook that they had in the MAC game, where they just kind of got forgotten about for the longest time until they luckily sniped the city from who was it? Who would have? Oh, I don't remember. They sniped the city from their neighbor. It may have been Buffalo, and then but that city snipe was all it took. Maybe it was Bowling Green. I think it was Bowling Green. They sniped Ball State's capital from Bowling Green, I think. So but that city snipe was all it took, and then they took off from there. So maybe they're hoping for that same kind of luck in this game, where they can snipe a city either with Nevada or Notre Dame, which are a lot harder to snipe because at least in the initial game, Akron's neighbor also was not building anything. So when the war came, they could sneak in there and easily do it. Where in this one's going to be a little bit harder. So Mississippi State catching up. East Carolina no longer really the only team with the big military here. You got a lot of teams that have caught up. Texas, Mississippi State, and Nevada have all definitely caught up to at least a close enough size. Syracuse finally does build their first military unit with an Otto the Orange, their unique catapult, I want to say. He just launches his soft orangey body into the city's walls and lets the acidity of his citrus dissolve them to nothing. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, as the maker of the mod, that's my lore for why he's a catapult. I'm pretty sure I hope he's a catapult, and that I didn't just make that up. If he isn't, I'm changing it. Alright, so Rice actually builds the Terracotta Army, and yeah, they still have nothing. So Rice got an extra catapult out of it. They already had 2, so now they're caught up to 3. Again, so in the final battle, we finally saw we saw another team that didn't really have much of a military that ended up building one, or building the Terracotta Army just to prevent other teams from having it. You can see it was a catapult because Otto the Orange is now a trebuchet, so I was right. Syracuse also builds the Great Library. We saw before that is going to give them a huge advantage. That's what Appalachian State did in the Sunbelt game that gave them a huge science boost ahead of everybody else. Now, to really make that work, Syracuse is going to probably want to capture a city to have the increased science and military production at the same time, but they don't have the military for it, and their neighbors are both very aggressive between or not aggressive, but large between Mississippi State or Michigan State and East Carolina. All right, so Utah and Akron still with no military. At least Syracuse and App State both have a single military unit. So yeah, those two lagging very behind. We're starting to see the middle filling up, and here's where Akron's going to go wrong. The last time they waited and were forgotten about until they were able to snipe a city and grow. This time they are the first team declared war against, and it is a joint war between Notre Dame and Nevada, who are both very powerful teams. So this one's not going to be as easy for the Zips, and I don't think they're going to last through this war. Both teams seem actually committed to fighting. Usually the first wars have been kind of hesitant, but usually the first war is actually a lot earlier. This waited until turn 201, I think, before that war actually started. So both teams had full militaries, and they both are going straight in unopposed to Infocision Stadium, bringing it down to the yellow. It's already to about half health. Now it's down to the red, the pretty deep red. Notre Dame gets the first shot, and they capture it. So that is an F in the chat for Akron. They made it this far, tried so hard, and in the end, it didn't matter. I know that's not the order of the lyrics, but I'm still going with the Linkin Park reference. And oh, don't boo. I mean, yeah, you can boo. That's definitely worth a boo. All right, so all right, so Notre Dame eliminates Akron. They get that second city of production, and they are going to have that advantage for now. And here's the second one. Nevada turns around. They didn't get the first time, but they're going to try again. They're going to go to war with Utah, the second team to not build a military, and this time they're going to team up with Mississippi State, who also has a large military in the north above them. So let's see if Nevada gets lucky the second time, or if they're going to just give up that second opportunity to another team while fighting a team who now does have a military unit. They build a composite bowman in the capital. It's a little bit too late there, buddy. All right, so Nevada goes first. Mississippi State does not get it, so Nevada gets a second attempt. They don't have a pikeman in the area, so I don't think they're going to get it. But they block Mississippi State, who doesn't have a melee unit, so you got to get one of these pikemen in there before Mississippi State gets theirs in. Will they do it? They're blocking them off, so they have open access to it, and Nevada pulls it off. So Nevada comes in and takes Rice Eccles Stadium. Utah has been eliminated from the game. That is an F in the chat for Utah. And we are down to 9. Probably 8 soon, because Notre Dame and Mississippi State... Oh, no, probably not. Well, maybe, because Mississippi State's right there. Notre Dame's not going to really... I hope they don't go cross-continent to go after Appalachian State. But Mississippi State does. They have that second shot to get a city, so we'll see if they can commit to that. Notre Dame has a single pikeman in the area. He's not going to take a city by himself, so they have to hope that the Bulldogs come in there and help him out, but I doubt it. Again, Notre Dame does not want that city right now. They need to work on capturing either Rice Stadium or McKay Stadium and expanding that way. Don't expand across the continent, because that's just really hard to manage, especially with East Carolina, Mississippi State, and teams like that right on your borders. So people who like to smile the most, Appalachian State and Rice are the two top teams. Syracuse not too far behind them. Those are because those teams have pretty much no military. If you start building military units, your happiness is going to go down. And so teams with no military will be really happy, but they're also very likely to get invaded and killed, like we saw with Utah and Akron and now App State. So Mississippi State does move in, but App State does have a better military than the two teams before it. So the Bulldogs have a bit of a challenge to go here, but they're doing a good job of working their way through that military and making their way to Kid Brewer Stadium. Let's see if East Carolina wants to jump in here and help. Maybe Texas, who's looking very, very good right now. If Texas wants a free city, Rice Stadium is sitting there pretty in the bottom. How's it going, Quick Joe? Or Kick Joe, sorry. Let's see. Nothing happening there. Yeah, so the war in the north is the only one going on right now. Mississippi State trying to get to Kid Brewer Stadium, but they just need to wait a little bit longer. There we go. Notre Dame and Texas are going to go to war against Michigan State. Notre Dame, again, too far away. They need to go after Rice. That is their best bet. And I can see why they're not. They don't really have much of a military. They're kind of spread out, and they're currently at war with App State. So those teams are Notre Dame just using their military on these two units. They're fighting back. Scouts can fight, not well, but they can. So they're weakening their units. They have to take time to defend themselves. And yes, Texas is definitely back for the moment. Let's see if they can handle what they need to do against Michigan State here. They already have Spartan Stadium surrounded. Michigan State's military is stalled. And let's see, they begin to damage the stadium. Syracuse is finally getting that military that they needed to get early in the game. They waited a good amount of time. Now it's finally time to build it, and they are. Texas has Spartan Stadium down under half health. They have 2 melee units in the area as it's in the red, and they do it. So Texas takes Spartan Stadium. They have eliminated Michigan State. That is an F in the chat for Michigan State, and Texas is now at 2 cities. I won't say it, I know. People in the chat are saying Texas is back, but I guess I did just say it, so. All right, so let's see. Mississippi State still going, still at war with App State, but not really trying as much. They're keeping their units reserved in their territory for now. Maybe I would make peace, rebuild a little bit. You're not going to get them this time, but maybe you can get them next time. But if they do make peace, they risk they run the risk of a team like East Carolina declaring war on them and invading, and they have open access to Kid Brewer Stadium. So yeah, that's just not a good idea. You want to make peace, but then that's a 10 turn time limit before you can make war again. So maybe just sit back and hope that App State doesn't keep pestering you and rebuild your military. On the other end, Nevada, who's on the just south of Mississippi State, also declares war on App State. Notre Dame makes peace. They realize it's not going to work going all the way up there, but Texas joins in on this war against App State as well. I don't think Texas is going to make it, but Nevada does really seem intending on moving in and taking Kid Brewer Stadium. They're sending in pretty much their full force. This is where Notre Dame can sweep in and take McKay, but I don't know if they're going to have the units or the know-it-all to do that. So Nevada's into Kid Brewer Stadium's territory with their military. They haven't done damage to the city yet. There it goes. So they're starting to do damage. App State builds the Great Wall to try and stop them, but unfortunately, they built it with Nevada's army already inside. So the Great Wall doesn't work when the army you're trying to stop is already inside the stadium walls when they're finished. So Kid Brewer Stadium down to the yellow. It's trying to heal itself quickly. Can they capture it before they're kicked out? Because this is really their only opportunity. If they lose this out, then App State's actually in a pretty good position with that Great Wall. They have it down to about half health, and they have a ton of melee units in the area, so they could still do it. Let's take a break from that real quick to look, because Texas and Notre Dame are both going to fight over Rice Stadium. So who gets to capture Rice? Texas is already in state, and their army is heading the wrong way, so I don't know if it's going to be Texas here. It looks like they're giving Notre Dame a chance. Maybe they will come back, circle back later, but Texas is sending their military out either towards Syracuse, East Carolina, or App State. I believe the Longhorns are still at war with App State. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah, they are still at war with App State, who is also at war with Nevada. Rice is at war with Texas and Notre Dame. So Texas has some time. They need Rice to lose some military units, which is precisely what they can let Notre Dame do. Nevada has Kid Brewer in the red. They have pikemen in the area to capture it. So will they be able to do this before they're kicked out of the wall for good? Or at least for a long time. It's so close. They can capture it if they can just get that pikeman in the area. Texas is coming back. They seem to be turning around to go towards Rice Stadium. They see Kid Brewer is not going to be capturable because Nevada has just captured it. So that is an F in the chat for App State. They have been eliminated from the game. That is the first time we've seen a Great Wall team go down this early in the game, and that is because they built the wall with the army attacking inside of it. So, yeah, so App State made some moves. Unfortunately, they were too late, and now they have been eliminated. So Nevada gets a city inside the Great Wall. That's going to help them out as a stronghold. They have Mississippi State surrounded. So the Bulldogs need to be careful here because they may be fighting a two-front war if Nevada plays their cards right. Back down in the south, Notre Dame still attempting that invasion of Rice. Texas has not moved their military south to invade yet. They're probably worried about Syracuse up here in the north, who's looking pretty good. They started late, but now they're in a really good spot. They're the only team who started late besides Rice, I think, that's still in the game. So, no, Notre Dame started pretty late, so I take that back. Rice Stadium has not taken damage yet, but Notre Dame is getting units into position pretty much unopposed. Texas starting to send that military down. So we will see if Texas wants to send their military units in. Syracuse does build the statue of Zeus, which does give them a nice boost to their military production. East Carolina is slowly losing land to leave in. Syracuse and now Nevada, both slowly expanding into their remaining territories to the south. So if East Carolina wants to invade someone, now would be the time. Kidd Brewer is looking pretty empty, but they have to get over that wall first. Syracuse is going to be a bit of a fight, so maybe they want to wait until Syracuse commits to a war before invading. But yeah, East Carolina needs to do something if they want to break out of this northern city that they're currently occupying. All right, so Rice Stadium is sitting there unopposed at the moment. Syracuse is moving, but I don't know if they're on their way to war or if they're just positioning at the moment. So you see Nevada here has land bombed Infocision Stadium, taking 2 tiles of land from Notre Dame. Rice still trying to fight Texas. Texas not committing to the war yet. Mike Leach is the most literate, which makes sense if you know about Mike Leach. Dino Babbers and Brian Kelly also up there with the big brain energy. Rice, one behind them, which is disappointing for Rice. Tom Herman and his Mensa team also at 29 up there with Rice and Nevada. East Carolina down in the back with 28. So it's still a really close race. And it's still a really close race between everyone. East Carolina falling behind a little bit, and that's just because they're getting stuck with such little land while everyone has room to expand. So, all right, so Rice doing a good job holding their own. It helps that Texas hasn't really come into this at all. Notre Dame's been taking pot shots, but not a full invasion force. Texas does send in 3 swordsmen. That's not going to be enough. They're going to pull back quickly, so Rice is holding their own. It's kind of like a cornered cat. They're just hissing, biting, lashing out at anything that comes near, but people are leaving them well enough alone. So I want to see Syracuse and East Carolina do something here. They got large militaries, and they aren't really doing anything with them at the moment. Everyone else, Nevada has built their military back up pretty well since their last war. Rice now does have the MOB, so the Owl Marching, or the Marching Owl Band. East Carolina builds the Parthenon, which is great for culture, not really great for this game. Syracuse is on the move. Nope, never mind, they're just positioning again. So Syracuse and East Carolina both kind of fighting for space in the north here. Syracuse's army is kind of blocking East Carolina from leaving. And there we go. Nevada is built up, and now they're going to go to war with Mississippi State. The Bulldogs do cross into that wall, trying to go for Kidd Brewer Stadium, but Nevada's forces are in the south, moving up quickly onto Davis-Wade Stadium from Rice-Eccles. So while the Bulldogs are starting to damage Kidd Brewer Stadium, they forgot to bring that melee unit into the walls with them, and now he is stuck with the entire Nevada invading force on the other side. Texas does make peace with Rice, so it is now just Rice versus Notre Dame. Texas needs time to rebuild that military, especially with Syracuse being so looming and menacing looking up in the north. So over in Davis-Wade, Nevada has taken care of the majority of, there we go, so all of Mississippi State's military, and is now free to invade Davis-Wade Stadium. They have it surrounded, and they do begin damaging the city. All right, so Notre Dame is practically out of units, so they need to be careful with Nevada when they're finished with this war, because the next opportunity is probably going to be Notre Dame. With East Carolina looking so big and military-like in the north, you want to take the path of least resistance, and that's going to be Infocision Stadium at the moment. Now, if Notre Dame builds their military while this is all going on, that could change, but for right now, that is probably where Nevada is going to be turning next. So Davis-Wade Stadium is down to under half health, now down to the deep red. Plenty of melee units to do it, and that is going to be the end of Davis-Wade Stadium, I mean. Mississippi State has been eliminated from the game. That is an F in the chat for Mississippi State. And now Nevada has 4 of 11 cities. So Nevada looking really good right now. If I were East Carolina and Syracuse, I would team up and try to go after Kid Brewer Stadium. If I were Texas or Notre Dame, I would try to capture Rice quickly so that you can start catching up to Nevada in city count. If I were Notre Dame, I would bulk up fast and try to go for McKay Stadium. Well, the Wolfpack is stuck in the north, but it's going to be really hard to build up that fast, especially while you're 1, still at war with Rice. 2, Nevada can get back down here in probably about 5 or so turns, which is not enough to build a military. So let's see what happens here. East Carolina is your best bet, and Syracuse. If they can team up and both go after Davis-Wade and Kid Brewer, that's how Nevada is going to get knocked down a peg or so. Alright, so we are back in relative peace minus Notre Dame and Syracuse, or Notre Dame and Rice. Never mind. Nevada is going to go to war with Syracuse. Syracuse is the aggressor. Here comes East Carolina and Rice right behind them. So that warmonger penalty of Nevada is taking hold. And the 2 teams I said I hoped went to war with them did, so I am happy about that. Rice isn't going to do much. They have to go through Notre Dame to get to Nevada, so they're not going to do anything. But East Carolina and Syracuse combined together, if they actually commit to this, can take at least Kid Brewer Stadium. So I think the wall's not going to be much of a factor, especially since there's no military up there to defend it. So let's see. East Carolina's already pretty much inside the wall. Syracuse is on the outside edge. Instead, they're going to take care of the military and let East Carolina take the city, which is very generous of them. Never mind. They're going to start trying to go in the walls as well. Nevada gets a few units up there. Texas already with musketmen, unlike everyone else in the game. So Texas is ahead. Technologically, it looks like, which is going to help them. If I were Texas, I would be bulking up and preparing to invade Syracuse, which is really going to hurt the war effort against Nevada, but it's whatever. If you're Texas, it's not about hurting Nevada more so than getting you that extra city. Notre Dame finally makes peace with Rice. Hopefully this gives them time to focus on their military strength so they can also try invading Nevada. Syracuse, it finally happened. We'll get to that in a second. Syracuse also starts worshipping a pantheon, giving them 30% increase in range combat strength, so that's going to be a little bit harder for a team who wants to invade the Carrier Dome from getting in. And Notre Dame has finally built Notre Dame. I'm so happy about that for no reason other than it finally has happened. Oh, I'm so happy Notre Dame built it. So Brian Kelly has completed Notre Dame. It's been 2 whole battle royales now and multiple rounds for Notre Dame now, and they finally did it. I was waiting for them to have Nevada or Rice or someone build it, but they finally got through. That's the happiest I've been, I think, through any of these battle royales. They have touchdown Jesus. All right, Texas is going to go back to war with Rice. They're going to go the hard way instead of taking the Carrier Dome while Syracuse is distracted. Rice has had time to build up. Texas has had time to build up, but Texas also has that extra city, so their army is probably a bit larger. Rice makes peace with Nevada. That was never going to happen to begin with. East Carolina's military is not looking too great up in the north. Syracuse's military is looking fine, but they're not really committing. Nevada's sending all of their military north. They also land bomb Notre Dame again. So if I were the Fighting Irish, I would be rebuilding my military quickly and then going after the completely empty McKay Stadium. But for now, let's keep focusing on what's happening in the north and in Rice. So Texas moving in, they have those they had the musketmen. They're gone now. They got destroyed, but they're fighting up against the Owls mob. So it's a little bit equal in terms of a unique unit versus a advanced technological unit. Notre Dame also gets a pantheon giving them faith if they win a battle within 4 tiles of their cities, which is pretty much anywhere in this area. Is it cities or... yeah, cities. So any battle within their own territory basically will get them that. So it's going to be a little bit harder to invade Notre Dame. Texas doing a good job. Rice's army is looking pretty low. So that's good for Texas, but they need to have a good reserve amount of units to actually try and take the stadium here. Cities we like to visit is not important. Syracuse makes peace with Nevada so they can rebuild, lick their wounds. Texas needs to be careful about that because now Syracuse is battle hardened and sitting with nothing to do. So Texas trying to invade Rice. They've eliminated that military again, but they aren't making that push to try and capture Rice Stadium. Syracuse still has too many units to capture the Carrier Dome without a fight, so Rice is actually moving in and trying to bring the fight to Texas. They're on the border of Texas Memorial Stadium, so they can go straight for that capital if they want to. Syracuse not... They made peace, right? Did I... Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. Did they make peace? I thought I saw that. Yeah, they did. So the only war is East Carolina, Nevada, and Texas and Rice. So Syracuse is moving their military. They're kind of keeping watch on what Nevada actually has. So maybe later on down the road they can do it. Notre Dame is bulking up now, as you can see in the south. And I think they have that idea of going after the open and empty McKay Stadium while Nevada is distracted in the north. Syracuse does build Stonehenge. And Nevada is starting to invade Doughty-Ficklin. So East Carolina is starting to lose that military advantage. Or they lost the military advantage. And that's just the 4-city team versus the 1-city team. And now they're going to be playing defense. But Nevada's not... Yeah, they've left everything open down here. So if I were Notre Dame, or if I were Texas, or Syracuse, who has to wait a few more turns before that treaty is up. Texas has denounced Syracuse. You know, they want to get that Carrier Dome for themselves. Yeah, they made peace with Rice. They weren't going to capture the city. If I were Notre Dame, I'd go after Nevada. It looks like they're kind of posturing to go after Rice again, which is a terrible idea. So go after Nevada, guys. Please go after Nevada. You're going the wrong way. They went the wrong way. They're going to go after Rice. So they want Rice Stadium. It's, I guess, the less threatening. Because if Notre Dame loses a war with Nevada... That is a huge loss, and that could end up potentially eliminating them from the game. They do have the Leprechaun, which is, I believe, a great general, I think he's a great merchant. So they have the Leprechaun. East Carolina makes peace with Nevada, so they managed to keep Doughty-Ficklin Stadium in that fight. But now they've given pretty much Notre Dame no chance to get McKay Stadium, because now Nevada can go back down south and defend themselves. Rice Stadium down to about... a little over half health, now down to the red. Notre Dame has plenty of units there. It's down to the deep red. I see 1, 2, 3 melee units to take it. And they do. So that is going to be an F in the chat for Rice. They are the next team eliminated, and we are now down to 5 teams remaining. Notre Dame does get Rice Stadium, securing that 3rd city for the Fighting Irish. That's going to be a big production boost. Texas needs to be very careful here. They need to go after Syracuse, I think. They need to wait for Syracuse to either go to war and be distracted, or they need to go after the weakened Notre Dame after that last fight with Rice. So I don't think they're quite at that level militarily to go after Notre Dame yet. Maybe hope that Notre Dame goes after Nevada first. Syracuse does get Catholicism. That is the first new war. Notre Dame's got to be pissed about that. Notre Dame went through all this effort to get Notre Dame, and they don't even get Catholicism for it. So we don't have a perfect Notre Dame team yet. They don't have all 3 of the Holy Trinity, I'm going to call it, to get that victory that they need. They need Catholicism, Notre Dame, and all of the capitals to win. But they can still win everything else. They can still get the capitals, and that's all that really matters. All right, so Syracuse is kind of positioning against East Carolina here. They haven't committed to a war yet. They're probably waiting for the right opportunity. They are at a disadvantage technologically. East Carolina does have musketmen. So does Texas. So in a bit of a pinch there for Syracuse. Notre Dame is gearing up down here in the south. With that 3rd city of production, they're already putting it to good use and preparing to potentially invade Nevada for that land bombings that they have been giving. So Syracuse gets the Hagia Sophia and does enhance Catholicism just to further upset Notre Dame. Notre Dame could be going after Texas here. They do seem to be in both areas on the east and west coast. They don't want to have to fight both of them at once, though. They're fighting both Texas and Notre Dame, and Nevada. That is going to be really bad for the Fighting Irish. So they need to kind of pick a team and go with it. They're going to settle for the consolation prize and found Buddhism in Notre Dame Stadium, which is not quite the same. Touchdown Jesus has now become Touchdown Buddha. And for the most part, I think we're at peace right now with everybody, right? There's no wars happening in the world. Everyone has denounced practically everybody except for Texas and Notre Dame. They're okay with each other. They have open borders. Texas actually has open borders with everybody but East Carolina. So Texas is happy. They're making deals with everybody. Let's keep going and see what happens. I think my cat's trying to bust into the room. So if you hear him meowing, that's why. Alright, Notre Dame is positioning themselves, but I can't tell what side they're doing it on. So Tom Herman in Texas has the most food. Nevada has no food. They have 0.5 food, so that's going to be really bad for their military. Notre Dame is on both sides here, but they're sending military back and forth, so they have not picked who they want to go to war with. I would do Nevada. They're starving. Their military's up here in the north. They're about to go to war with East Carolina again. And they've left McKay Stadium still undefended. So as soon as Nevada declares that war against East Carolina, which you know they're getting ready to do, that's when Notre Dame needs to strike. Like, give it a turn or two for the Wolfpack to actually commit to the fight. And then when it's almost too late to turn back, that's when you strike and take a few cities in the south. If you can take McKay Stadium, that's their capital. That's their biggest city you're going to get from them. So that'll severely hurt Nevada's... it'll set them back by a ton. So if you can get McKay Stadium, you have crippled Nevada to the point where it's going to take a long time for them to come back from that. Also setting yourself up with 4 cities, so putting you in the advantage here. There we go. Notre Dame is going to go to war with Nevada. They did not wait until Nevada had gone to war with East Carolina, so Nevada's immediately sending their troops down south. So now it's going to be an actual battle here. McKay Stadium is, for right now, completely undefended, but it'll be about 2 turns or 3 turns until Nevada gets their entire army back. Notre Dame not sending their entire force immediately. I guess they're waiting for Nevada to come and have an actual fight with them. They have the technological advantage. I see a lot of pikemen and crossbows. I do see 1 musketman, but here it's all musketmen, knights, and cannons. So technologically right now, Nevada just doesn't have the gold or the knowledge to upgrade. I'm not really sure which one it is. They have the technology, so... Alright, so Notre Dame saw the Wolfpack army coming down from the north towards them and decided to accept the peace deal. Nevada wants to go after East Carolina. So they're going to immediately send that army back north. They, for some reason, let Notre Dame accept a peace... Or Notre Dame let them make a peace deal. They must have gotten something good out of it. Either a ton of gold or what. And it looks like Notre Dame made that peace deal so they can go after Texas. Yep, there we go. So Notre Dame is going to declare war against the Longhorns. They're right on that border with Texas Memorial Stadium, so if they can break through the Texas defense here, they will get a capital and severely hurt Texas here. And we all know the Big 12 is great at defense, so Texas should be doing a really good job of stopping them from getting to the stadium. So on the other end, there's that inevitable war between Nevada and East Carolina. So now war is starting to break back out again. Seltar, I'm sorry, I just keep ragging on Texas. I know you're a fan. I don't mean it. I actually like Texas. They're cool. Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium is under invasion. Notre Dame has gotten Texas Memorial Stadium. They're at the walls, but they have not started damaging it yet. Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium does begin to take damage. Texas is, for some reason, defending Spartan Stadium, which is the wrong stadium to defend here. You want to go after... You want to protect your capital, guys. You want to keep the capital. It's your biggest city. I mean, only by 1 population, but you have a lot of your start and a lot of your assets there. So, Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium down to about half health. Staying at about half health for now. Let's see if they can get it down further. It's healing about as fast as they're hurting it, so... It's going down slow. Notre Dame's lost a lot of that military force here trying to invade Texas, but Texas is also hurting. So they have not done damage to Texas Memorial Stadium, but they have done a lot of damage to Texas's military. There's the beginning of the damage. Let's see if they can keep that up. They do have cannons, so that'll help, but they're not placing them, and because cannons take 2 turns to actually set up and then start attacking. So if they don't commit to putting a cannon down, they're not going to use it. Dowdy-Ficklen down to the red. It's almost capturable. They have units in position to take it. It's still in the red, but not taken yet. Notre Dame is retreating-ish from Texas's land. And there we go. Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium has been captured. That is an F in the chat for East Carolina. They started the game so powerful looking, did nothing with it, and then got eliminated. So that just goes to show early army means nothing if you don't play your cards right. So now Nevada has 6 of the 11 cities, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 5 of the 11 cities. And so in a very, very good spot. They have Notre Dame beat by 2, Texas beat by 3, and that is math. Syracuse gearing up here to possibly invade Texas as well, maybe. Someone needs to attack Nevada if they don't want them to run away with it. Syracuse, you have the largest army. Down here in the south, Notre Dame is beginning to do damage to Texas Memorial Stadium, but they have 1 pikeman and 1 musketman to actually capture it. They have some knights back here that can do it as well, but they have to get them into the battlefield first. Texas is keeping the majority of their military around Spartan Stadium, which is the wrong stadium to defend again. But they are probably gearing up because Syracuse looks like they're ready to invade. So Texas needs to hedge its bets that Syracuse does not invade, and if they do want to guess that the Orange are going to come in, they need to make sure they're prepared. So they're doing what they can to stop Notre Dame's attacks, but also fend off Syracuse from even thinking about it. So Notre Dame's going to pull back. Texas is actually advancing towards them, which is the wrong move. And so right now Texas is going to keep everything. Notre Dame now also does have the 4 horsemen, which is a bit of an advantage for the Fighting Irish again. And you can just see how they're just destroying Texas's military as they come through. Basically, every turn, they are just coming through and taking another unit and another unit. Texas is so far behind, like 10 times behind almost, Nevada's military strength. Nevada is just above and beyond everybody else at the moment. Syracuse can give them a run for their money in the north, but if they just brought everything in, they could run and take over whatever they wanted. Notre Dame's being smart. They're keeping a lot of units in here, but it looks like most of them, if not all of them, are actually civilian units, so not really going to stop anything. Nevada has land-bombed Infocision Stadium again, so they are right on those walls. I mean, these walls are pretty much at the border. They could set up a bunch, like 2 or 3 cannons in here and just start attacking it immediately on declaration of war. Texas has land-bombed Syracuse, so now you can see Syracuse is actually in Texas's land. They have open borders, so that's fine. But, and I think these mountains did a good job. Besides that admiral that Syracuse built, I don't see any other military units inside of in the water, and all of the capital land has stopped at the sea level. They haven't expanded out into the ocean before, or like they used to. So yay, that's good to know for later on. All right, so Notre Dame trying again at Texas Memorial Stadium. They are starting to damage it. Texas is running out of military units to stop them this time, and now they brought a pretty decent contingency. Syracuse is open to a free and open Spartan Stadium if they want to, as Texas sends their last remaining units to defend their capital. Notre Dame not doing enough damage to bring it down fast, but they are bringing it down consistently. It's down to the yellow, and it's staying in the yellow for right now. Nevada has a single Lancer who's just there in open border. So Notre Dame doing their best, but they're losing units. Texas is hanging on by a thread here, as Texas Memorial Stadium is beginning to heal faster than they can damage it. And Texas, wait, what? Texas joins Nevada in a war against Syracuse. Syracuse was not the aggressor in this war. Texas was the aggressor in this war. That is a horrible move by the Longhorns, because Syracuse immediately rushes in and invades. Texas makes peace with Notre Dame. They must have given them something that the Fighting Irish liked, because now they need to, because Syracuse is just rushing in to take Spartan Stadium. Now, Syracuse doesn't want to rush everybody in, because Nevada, they're just giving the Carrier Dome to Nevada. They have to capture Spartan Stadium before Nevada captures the Carrier Dome, because if Nevada gets the Carrier Dome, Syracuse army disappears. So this is a weird game of chicken between, or not chicken, what, I don't even know what game this would be, where they just, it's a race between Syracuse's military to capture a stadium before Nevada can capture their capital. Like, Syracuse's army is pretty much defeated by Texas right now, and now they're rushing back to the Carrier Dome where they realize they've made a mistake. They rushed the wrong direction. I know it was stupid for Texas to join this war, but Syracuse rushed the wrong way in that fight, because Texas wasn't going to attack you. Nevada was ready to come in with everything they got, and now the Carrier Dome is starting to take damage. Texas, I guess, distracted Syracuse. Yeah, it's true Mensa. Texas distracted Syracuse to let Nevada take the Carrier Dome. The Wolfpack also adopts autocracy, and now Texas has a single cannon which can't capture the city inside the Carrier Dome's land. So Carrier Dome's brought down to the yellows. Nevada's bringing plenty of units to capture it. If Texas wants to try and sneak a rifleman in there to take it, they can, but the cannon can't take cities. And the cannon's dead. So here comes that rifleman. He's at the border. Could they do it? Texas will go first if that rifleman can get in there. It's right there. Oh, it got defeated. Oh, Texas has to make peace with Syracuse, and Nevada gets to keep the Carrier Dome. So that is an F in the chat for Syracuse, and you were totally right. Aerial Shuffle. East Carolina and Syracuse had a chance to prevent Nevada from doing this, but both teams sat on their hands for the longest time and allowed Nevada to just steamroll to the west. They now control half the map, or over half the map, including the Carrier Dome. So that is an F in the chat for Syracuse. We're now down to 3. Notre Dame's looking pretty good in the south. Texas is not looking so good in the east. And Nevada looking very powerful everywhere else in the map. So if I were Notre Dame, I would quickly re-invade Texas. It's been long enough to where that peace treaty has to be over by now. You have tons of military units, and Nevada is coming. So try taking Texas's 2 cities. Bring it down from a 3-on-6 city war to a 5-on-6 city war, where you can possibly have the slighter edge. But but yeah, it's not looking good for Texas. It's definitely not looking good for Texas. It's looking okay for Notre Dame. It's going to be very hard for the Fighting Irish to pull this off. But it's not impossible if they play their cards right here. There's plenty of nuclear weapons for those of you who saw me building the map. I changed the uranium layout, so I think Nevada has at least 3. Notre Dame has to have 1 or 2. So if nukes come into play, things can change really, really fast. But we may not even get to that point because Nevada is just full of units and they're all over the map right now. So they need to wait 10 turns before they can invade Texas again. Those 10 turns should have passed by now. Texas is slowly rebuilding, but they're very far behind in terms of military strength. So behind both Notre Dame and Nevada. So Nevada has 19 wonders to Notre Dame's 2, and Texas is 0. And yes, this does encompass Texas's season very well. So, if I were Notre Dame, I would invade now. You're running out of land to even put your units, so put them to use. We saw how quickly they kind of overran Texas's military in the last war, but how incompetently they were at actually capturing the capital. Maybe with more units to throw at it, they can do it better this time. But Nevada is grouping up at Notre Dame's borders, so the Fighting Irish are running out of opportunities here before they are going to be invaded. Maybe Texas is hoping that Notre Dame gets invaded first so they can last to 2nd place by default. That's some big brain energy right there. I'm Tom Hartman. Is just try and hope that Nevada will go after Notre Dame first. Alright, so we are in a relative peacetime. We're going to keep going. Turn 800, we will force war if there's none by then. That's a long time from now, so we probably will see a war by then. Especially between Nevada and Texas, or Notre Dame and Texas would be my guess. Notre Dame gets order, Nevada had autocracy, and Texas has not gotten to that point yet, so conflicting ideologies between the teams here, so that's going to cause some further tension, further strife. Further opportunity for war. Nevada does have great war infantry now to Notre Dame's riflemen and Texas's riflemen. Is Norvell a former Texas coach? I did not know that. Not to be confused with the now Florida State coach. They have no relation, I found out. Even though their last names are the same. I want to see Nevada's coach in cornrows. I've seen FSU's. I have not seen Nevada's. That's how we can compare the 2 Norvells. Alright, so Texas now adopts autocracy. They try to appease Nevada with their ideology. Opposed to Notre Dame, they're the only ones with order, which is going to cause Notre Dame to have a high unhappiness. If your population does not agree with your ideology, especially, and they agree with it or not compared to how how other cities or other teams in the game have their ideologies. If you're the only one with your ideology and everyone else is something else, your population or your happiness is going to take a nosedive. And it could lead to a point where your population revolts and makes you forcibly change your ideology to the more popular one in the game. So that could be really bad for Notre Dame here, as both Texas and Nevada have both grown up. Texas is still behind technologically, but their military is pretty big now. It's not going to stop anyone. Let's be honest. I mean, they're going to put a dent, but they won't capture much with that military. But it's definitely enough to eat away at Notre Dame's army and let Nevada finish the job. So we are definitely in some sort of stalemate here. Texas has denounced Notre Dame. Texas does have Matthew McConaughey, so this is their last chance to be saved here. They have a ton of Matthew McConaughey's just all throughout their land. He's driving Lincolns around Texas, hoping to rally the troops to invade somebody. They're grouping up. I don't think they're doing it for any particular reason. They're not going to go to war. Texas won't be the aggressor in any war that they're in. But then again, Texas, I wouldn't think, would invade Syracuse when they had no military. So they're moving to the north. Are they bold enough? Let's not go with stupid. Are they bold enough to go after the Carrier Dome? Brian Kelly has the highest happiness, so that's actually surprising with order. Tom Herman has 4, so people aren't as happy with Tom Herman. Maybe Matthew McConaughey will turn that around. And yeah, Notre Dame's in trouble. Texas is going to invade Notre Dame along with Nevada, so Notre Dame's going to have a dual war with both teams against it. Texas may actually make it to second place. They must have been doing some backroom deals with Notre Dame or with Nevada here to go to war with Notre Dame first. And they finally figured out what it took to get the Wolfpack to agree to it. And now Infocision Stadium's down to the yellow. Like I said, Notre Dame's army is pretty much focusing on Texas, letting Nevada run rampant through the behind into Infocision Stadium. That sounded really wrong. Infocision Stadium's down to the red. Plenty of units to capture it. Healed to the yellow before going back to the red. Down to no health. These cavalry can take it. There it goes. So Infocision Stadium gets captured by Nevada. Notre Dame's army is pretty much folded between the fight of both Matthew McConaughey, a bunch of Matthew McConaughey's and a bunch of Nevada units. Nevada also does have Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911 Miami fame, and they're bringing him. So it's hot pants versus hot cars in Matthew McConaughey, and let's see which one pulls through. Lieutenant Dangle or Matthew McConaughey. All right, so Notre Dame Stadium is not taking damage yet, but all of Notre Dame's army is pretty much destroyed. Texas making that push for Rice Stadium. They want to control all the Texas stadiums at least for a little bit. Notre Dame Stadium does begin taking damage, as does Rice Stadium, as Matthew McConaughey just pile on top of each other to climb over the walls. Now Texas is getting greedy and going after Notre Dame Stadium instead. So they want to snipe it from Nevada here. Will they do it? Nevada and Texas both fighting for Notre Dame Stadium. Nevada trying to position some units to block Texas from the stadium. I mean, I get why Texas wants it. It's a capital that's bigger and more prominent, but I don't know if that's the best move for the Longhorns here. I would have gone after Rice Stadium. It's still perfectly good. It's down to the red. Texas will go first, and Matthew McConaughey pulls through and captures Notre Dame Stadium. Lucky for the Nevada, though, they do have open borders with Texas. So now Texas is in a perfect position to lock Nevada out of Rice Stadium as well. They sniped Notre Dame Stadium from Nevada, and now they look in very good position to take Rice Stadium as well. Big Mensa energy here from Tom Herman. Unfortunately, they used most of the army to get both of these stadiums, so Nevada can just quickly declare war on Texas and invade and just sweep them up from the south. But Texas does also get Rice Stadium, and that is going to be the end of Notre Dame. That is an F in the chat for Notre Dame, and then there were 2. Texas went from having 2 cities to 4, just like that. And unfortunately, their military is very far behind. Their technologies are very far behind. But that is a very good move from Texas there with that snipe. It's a little too late. Maybe Nevada will be nice. If Nevada lets Texas rebuild their military, they could actually put up a decent fight, especially with nukes coming into play soon. We're getting close to that point. Once you see modern infantry, that means nukes are going to be pretty much in play. I did not expect that from Texas. I thought when they went to Notre Dame Stadium, they were going to lose all their military and both Notre Dame Stadium and Rice, but they managed to pull it off. That was a really good move by Texas. So let's see if Nevada lets them be for a little bit. I doubt it. They're very weak, and Nevada needs to win. But if they can let them win, yeah, there we go. So Nevada immediately declares war on Texas, and Matthew McConaughey is going to rush in and try to stop it, but they're getting attacked from both the north and the south by big militaries here. Right, Nevada immediately takes Notre Dame Stadium from the Longhorns. Spartan Stadium starts to take damage. They move in on Rice Stadium. Texas has no military left to defend themselves. People are asking Matthew McConaughey to play his bongos to stop him. Do whatever it takes, McConaughey. You can do it. We believe you. Rice Stadium goes down next. Spartan Stadium almost at half health now to the deep red as Texas Memorial Stadium gets beginning to take damage. There we go. Spartan Stadium goes down. It's all down to this. Texas Memorial Stadium. Matthew McConaughey is no longer to be seen. All they have is a single artillery unit. Lieutenant Dangles are everywhere. And down to the red. And that is going to be the end of the CFB Micro Battle Royale. Congratulations to Nevada for winning it all. They made it through the Mountain West. They made it through the finals, and they have won the Micro Battle Royale. Unfortunately, it's not as impressive as winning the actual Battle Royale. That's going to be later on in the year. That's going to be starting June 2nd, and we'll get more info on that as we come by. So congratulations to Nevada. They made it through, and they are the Micro Battle Royale champions and made it through all of this quarantine fun.